Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahshai, Shem HaKakodah, Shalom to 144,000 rest you elect out there, Shalom to all. And I'm going to entitle this video, Almost Half of American Black Women or Israelite Women are single mothers. I was going to say parent. So I put in a question. Number of black American single mothers, it should have been, with kids. It says in 2022 there were approximately 4.15 million, and the population of so-called black Americans, men and women, male and female, they say it's 12,000. So this is a big number. So let's say it's half and half. If it's 12,000, 13,000, 12,000, half of that is 6,000. That's not a good look at all. Black females headed by a single mother, a figure that has increased since 1990. In 2023, about 47%, that's half, that's a few points from half, of all black mothers in America were single mothers. This is the highest rate compared to other racial groups, and a disproportionate number of black children, more than half, live with a single parent, and it's a mother. So the reason why I went to this is because I was watching part of this video. I'm not going to play it from the beginning. I urge you to watch the whole video. But I'm going to start from right about here. Just kind of I was listening to about up to here. So I'm going to come back to 5:58. Like I said, you can watch the rest of this. So listen up.
You know, getting that nasty synthetic stuff put in their hair and all of that, to going back into submission, because I should have checked it before we got started, but it's all good.
So I jumped back to 3 minutes and 24 seconds.
All good. Those will I can find it.
Bottom line is, the so-called black woman, Judah, American black women, completely out of order. In most of them tribes, Latin women are not as bad, unless until they come to this country, they get fucked up, especially if they befriend the so-called black women. But black women are completely out of pocket. I don't want a sister. I don't want one. I'm not saying, they say never say no. There's some good sisters out there. You got sisters that listen to us, that the Most High had mercy and grace upon them. So there's some decent women, but the majority of them are garbage, or straight garbage, and they're out of order. And they think they're equal to men or over the men, and they think they can do what the fuck they want to do. That's why the law tells you about, and I always go to this. I go to this a lot, rather. Not always, but a lot. The father, not the father and the mother, but the father chooses who the daughter's going to get with in the law. Because these women want to get with who they want to get, and it never works out. Even when the parents tell them, no, this is not the right man for you. Oh, no, I know I love this man. He loved me. And then after you have a couple of kids, he's gone. He's locked up. He's doing what the hell he moved on to the next. And you're mad at the world. And then you get another man and the same thing. Y'all all fucked up in the head. You all belong in pretty much in an insane asylum, because you are all insane. You're all fucked up in the head. You got all these videos on TikTok, mainly women, black women, getting on the Hebrew Israelites. We're not here to save the black woman. We're here to push the word out so that can initiate the elect out members out there, which include men and women and children. But the men is going to get it first. So if a man is part of the elect, his woman that sticks with him to the end, well, she's a part of the elect too, and the children, the household. Remember the jailer, the Apostle Paul told the jailer, he thought he was going to kill himself, because the gates, the prison bars open, And Paul said, "Oh no, we sitting here," and he was praying, and he said, I mean, you can go to it. I'm not going to go to it, but he said, I believe he said, "How can I be saved?" or something like that. And he said, "If you believe, you and your house shall be saved." Meaning, even if you have an unbelieving wife, she'll be saved. If you're one of the elect, you have a woman, she's with you. You have children, they with you. In other words, they're underage and they're with you, live in your household. That's your house. So when IUIC says, "Oh, you can't deal with a woman if she's not in the truth," where's that in the scriptures? Watch what Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushua is gonna do with the IUIC. Anyway, let's let it rip.
It might have been this one because I remember, but let me just see what else we got here.
So he's at the what is this, Isaiah 32:9. That's what he opened it with, Isaiah 32:9. And you notice this November 1 thing, November 1st thing, all hell's supposed to break loose. And November 1st, and you have mostly women ranting and I understand because most men work, they get their own money. They get their own money. Whether they work, they rob, steal, whatever, gangbang, whatever, they sell drugs, they get their money. Women rely on, most women, black American women, a lot of them don't work. They rely on a man that works to take care of them, bring home the so-called lamb, not bacon, but the lamb, supposedly. And they'll have kids. They have children. They might have 3-4 children. One might be 12, the other might be 8, the other might be 4, or whatever the case may be. So they obviously can't work, but you got the system. If they don't have a man, you got the system. You got the welfare, the food stamps, EBT, these different WIC. You got all these different things. Section 8, you got all these different things. And so that's a threat. They're saying, well, that's going to be cut. The fact that they got food in the house is because they get them stamps. And Jake, you can find out whatever area you go to, if they get it on the first. Niggas will be out there. They get them checks. They'll be in the check cashing places on the first, second, whatever. They do the big shopping, right? So they can't do that. So this is the fulfillment of the scripture as well. A lot of scriptures are being fulfilled that we've been talking about it. Tremble. This is let me read it from the. He doesn't have the King James. It says in amplified. Tremble, you women, Israelite women who are carefree. Tremble with fear. Your what's this? Complacent one. You complacent ones. I can hardly see it. Strip, undress, and wear sackcloth, a garment of mourning, on your waist in grief. Well, that's a good version of the amp. So that's what they're going to do. If this thing, how far is this going to go? Is this going to go for a month? Is this going to go for 2 months? Is this going to go for 3 months? They're going to have to do something. Isaiah 4:1, they're going to have to do something. Because like I said, I believe this is a Trojan horse, AKA or slash Trojan horse, a psyop for you to come back, but you got to get that ID. That's how they're going to push that ID on you. That's my personal, opinion of the matter. Because they're going to have to do something to make you want to get that ID card, digital national ID, federal ID card. They're going to have to do something major to get you to get the chip in you. Because it's all piecemeal. It's all step by step to the microchip. So we here, man. Like I said, I'll be surprised if this man makes it to the year 2027. But we're extremely close. And I want to say this big thing about Drewski dressing like a purple and gold. he had a couple of guys with him, and these guys look like they're part of a real Israelite camp. Now, if they're part of a real Israelite camp, they're totally off. And another thing, you got a lot of these camps, these Hebrew Israelite camps, that just they'll watch the videos. GMS, IUICs, ISUBK, and these other videos, HOI, whatever, AOC, or whatever these camps are. And they won't join a camp. They'll kind of memorize certain scriptures, write scriptures down, but they'll go from this camp, they'll get a certain amount of this camp and a certain amount of that camp, and they'll put their own thing together, and the Lord ain't really dealing with them. Because the Spirit didn't teach them the scriptures. They just pretty much, let me watch. I like the way IUIC broke that down, so I'm gonna use that. Or the part, what if people ask us about the mark of the beast? Well, I don't like GMS. They didn't want to say we know the Most High ain't dealing with GMS. So we're going to go with Nate. And plus, IUIC, ISUBK teach the same thing. So there's a bunch of confusion out there, but that's good because the Most High spoke about a stumbling block. He say he's going to lay, I'm not going to go to the scripture, he's going to lay the stumbling block before them, the non-elect. So that's basically a stumbling block. So I'm going to let this play.
Just bear with me for a moment. All right. So let's go back up. All right, go back up here to the NIV. And I'm gonna explain what I the whole deal. So like it for the now, no, I know it may not seem like there's any clarity to it, but Lord's will, it'll be edifying. So the NIV in Isaiah 32.
Bottom line, what's going to lead these women to fulfill Isaiah 4:1? One scripture that he's going into, Deuteronomy 32:9. Isaiah, second, it's the time of Jacob's trouble, Daniel 12, Jeremiah 30 verse 7, second Ezra 15 and 16. Just to name a few.
And 11, that was right. It says, "Tremble ye complacent women, shudder, you daughters who feel secure. Strip off your fine clothes and wrap yourselves in rags." And I believe the one that he was reading said, wrap the rags around your waist or something like that. I forget exactly how it was worded. But when this was read, right, whatever version it was, it made me think of, which like I said, totally a spirit. It made me think of, how servants would, clothe themselves or set themselves up to serve somebody, and immediately what came to mind was what Yahushua girded himself, let's see, let me type in the word girded. And what did he do? When he girded himself, he washed the disciples' feet. So pretty much these women are going to go from that careless, complacent, fine living, or what they consider fine living, nice clothes, perfume, getting that.
And our women jump from man to man, and they'll deal with they have an initial man that might be working for FedEx or Amazon or UPS or whatever, post office. You got a construction. He's out there working. She gets bored. She working at another job. She getting in with another dude, And even in this video, I don't know if I passed it yet, but I believe he's going to mention it. That's why you got to watch from the beginning. They commit the act of adultery because they have no fear. You know, if the teeth was put on that the act of adultery, and people heard on the news another person got put to death, the cops came over and realized that this man was living with this woman. He was taking care of the woman. She was dealing with somebody else, so they had to let him go, and they had to apologize. And they gave him $1 million, whatever. If that happens enough, these women will stop automatically. You got these sisters, they think they're really stronger than men, and they'll get all up in the face of a man, and when they get, you know, a three-piece, you know, a chair broke over their head or something like that, then they become submissive. You bitches, you hoes are gonna become submissive. You know? We're gonna put cases on all you bitches. Anyway, so there's a lot of layers to this truth. And you women are fucking losing it. Talking about, I'm gonna run. You know what? Them cops are gonna fuck your asses up. You're gonna be missing teeth, eyeballs, head crack, hair's gonna be pulled off, wigs gonna be flying, weaves gonna be all over the place. You know, like them cartoons where they fight, and you see the feet and the hands, and you see the dust. Them motherfucking stormtroopers gonna be on your ass like that. So you ain't gonna do shit, and they're gonna be ready. Esau knows you; he's gonna be ready for you. Like I said, I believe that this is a Trojan horse slash Trojan horse slash psyop to usher in the national ID. Okay? Quarter out of chaos. Listening on.
Nasty synthetic stuff put in their hair and all of that, to going back into submission. Because when you look up the word to submit, it's accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. And what's going to make that other person?
And you know what woman sees that in the so-called black man? The white woman. Now I was just watching my main man, Deacon Hakar. He did another video on food. He hooked up the mac and cheese right. He hooked it up right this time. But did you know how to store it? Did you know how to break? Let me tell you, bro. Let me tell you something, Mark. When you make the big casserole type dishes, you can't just put it in the refrigerator. You got to cut it up into about 10 or 15 servings in separate containers. You can't put it in there. You're gonna have your whole thing is gonna be bacteria. That's why your kids get sick, because they're eating that bacteria. But you hooked it up. But you got to know how to store it. You got to know how to let it sit for about an hour. And then you got to cut it up, you know, like lasagna. You can't just put it in the refrigerator, all right? Anyway, he was talking about this situation that with Drewski, Big Head Drewski. But they had an actual Israelite camp with him, because the brother had the fringes on. Why would you do something like that, man? Why would you, as a Hebrew Israelite, do a comedy skit with somebody? You know, march down the street like it's a joke. So, anyway, he mentioned what they did in the video. If you notice, they were marching down the street talking about Israel, but then they took the garments on. They were talking to white women in the car, and then I already knew that my man Deacon Hakar was going to say, oh, that's GMS. Now, where'd you ever see me roll up to a car and talk to white women? You never see me. And now, if I happen to run into a white woman and she looks good, and we go to talking, I'll take her home. And I might even introduce y'all to the VU. Then again, I won't. But I'm not saying that I'm looking. I'm not saying the first white woman I see, but these Israelite women acting stupid. Now, if the Edomite woman is open, she might be an Israelite. First of all, I'm looking for an Israelite that looks like an Edomite woman, like an Irish woman, or Italian woman, or a woman from Poland. You know, a lot of them women from Eastern Europe A lot of them are Jakes. So I will do a series of tests on it. One of the tests to see how rhythmic they are. Then I'll know, well, she's a Jake, but she looked like an Edomite. So I ain't really breaking no laws. But if I happen to have an Edomite, there's nothing wrong with it because I'm going to let her know. I said, look, you're a concubine. You're not my wife. Okay, so don't get any ideas. You're not my wife. You're my concubine. What if you get her pregnant? Well, guess what? Who was that? Was that Gideon? Was that Gideon? Anyway, he had 70 sons. How many? Wait, did he have 70 wives or 70 sons? He had a bunch, I believe it was 70 sons. And he said one of his sons he had was by a concubine. So, hey, you can have concubines. David had concubines of the other nations, including Israelite women. Married Israelite women had concubines of other nations. So where's this? See, these GMS guys, they be doing. Well, where did that change? What's his name? Priest Hakar. Where did that change? Oh, you can't have Edomite women. You can't have women in other nations. And don't bring me Deuteronomy 7. That only applies to Canaanites. I don't want Canaanites any goddamn way. So if there's a woman that appears to be an Edomite woman, I'm going to check her. I'm going to do a series of tests on her. One of the tests is a rhythmic test. If she's rhythmic and she's open, I'm going to deal with her. All right? There's nothing wrong with that. You do not break the law. David hated Edomites. David hated Edomites. He put them in captivity, but he was dealing with the Edomite women. So what's up? And in the kingdom, we're going to have women of the other nations as concubines. So what's up? Let's go.
Person which is an Israelite man of the elect, superior, the fact that the Lord said, I will make a man more precious than fine gold. And these women are this is why women they have something called hypergamy, which means to marry up, pretty much in just in layman's terms. So the woman would try to marry the highest.
Why do you think the so-called Edomite women they got a thing for the Jake men? Because they know that they're going to be the next rulers. They know that in the spirit. They know that in the spirit. There's one woman, Edomite woman, that the guy asked, what men do you like, white men or black? She said, black men. So he said, why? She said, because if I have children, they'll have melanin in them and they can be delivered or saved. Because the so-called black man is the next ruler. It's you got to find it. She didn't say, well, he got a bigger rod, or most of them Edomite women say they like Jake men because of their swag. They don't always say the sexual thing, but their swag, the way they talk to you, and they treat you like a lady. Or whatever, Jake can roll, they can put the charm on a woman. Jake knows how to throw the charm on the woman. And women like that. And Edomites like that, right? So that's what this Edomite blonde-haired woman. She said, the guy said, why do you want Jake, the black man over white men? Because they have melanin, and that's the thing that's going to deliver my children are going to make it. So there's something in the spirit that they know. So this term, let's bring this back. Listen up.
Or this is why women they have something called hypergamy, which means to marry up, pretty much.
So they see that this man's going down in the spirit, so they want to get with Jake. They want to get, what do Edomite women do? You got Jake that play, they get drafted, the big draft come up, NBA draft, right? You got the sisters, they'll be there on the NBA draft. Vinilova won, or whoever won, whatever, the March Madness, right? When they have the draft, them fine-ass Jake women are there. But guess what? You got Edomite women that's with this brother when they met back in the first year of college. And she stuck by this man. And she really loved this man. And that relationship goes on and they grow old together. So these Edomite women, they said, well, I can see potential in this man. Or she might not see potential, but she loved the man anyway. And then you get mad when a Jake man gets with an Edomite woman. When the Edomite woman treats a Jake man better than a Jake woman treats a Jake man. Let's deal with Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor had an Edomite woman, or she appeared to be Edomite, and Jake woman. One of his wives was Pam Grier. When this nigga got old and sick and he needed somebody to help him, none of them black women came back to help him. Guess what? His white wife came back to help him. Wipe his ass, help him go to the bathroom. She came in. She was true. She was true to the game. So Edomite women know. They have the tuition. They have the inner, spirit to know that we are the next rulers of the planet Earth. And Esau knows this. Listening on.
And, just in layman's terms. So the woman would try to marry the highest individual they could so that they could live good. So the Lord is going to bring these women into total submission to where all that feminist ideology, all that demonic shit that was put in their mind, the serpent's venom, the juice that the serpent fed them, is going to go out the door, because it's not going to make sense anymore, because all they're going to be concerned with is survival. All right? And this is why the Lord is going to make them submit, make them humiliate them to the point where they have no other alternative but to completely submit. So the Lord is going to back these women into a corner, because Esau, their lover, is not going to provide for them anymore, because the Lord is making Esau pull back on that Gardenian pact. Right? So now check this out.
I got to give you a scripture, and I'm going to look up the word Gardenian. Let's look up the word Gardenian. That goes back to the garden, by the way. Satan, the serpent. What is a Gardenian pact? Okay, this is not pact. I put pact. Let me go pact. Pact. Pact in the Bible. Gardenian pact is not a term found in the Bible. The phrase is a confusion. Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and major covenant that follows Genesis. The event in the Garden of Eden is sometimes called the covenant of works by theologian. Come on, man. What do Gardenians represent in the Bible? How many pacts is in the Bible? What the Bible says about Gardenian the hidden covenant in the Garden of Eden. Anyway, I was going to say something else. Let me come on back. Let me bring this back a bit.
Make them humiliate them to the point where they have no other alternative but to completely submit. So the Lord is going to back these women into a corner, because Esau, their lover, is not going to provide for them anymore, because the Lord is making Esau pull back.
And that's in the scriptures. One scripture come to mind is Jeremiah 5. If not 5, it's 4. Give me a second. I hadn't gone through this in a while. Jeremiah 4, let's try. I believe it's Jeremiah 4 verse 32 or somewhere around there. Give me a second. Here we go. Jeremiah 4 verse 30. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou clothest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with paintings, makeup. This is what the sisters do when they go for interview to some Edomite. They make sure, hey, if a woman says, I don't know how to act on it, I'll say, act like you on the interview. And act like I'm the fucking white man. Okay, that's how you gotta act. It says, in vain shalt thou make thyself fear. Thy lovers, which Esau, number one on the list, will despise thee. They will seek thy life. Let me go ahead and read the 31st verse. For I have heard a voice as of a woman in travail, pain, and the anguish as of her, bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewaileth or crieth herself, that spreadeth her hand, saying, Woe is me now, for my soul is wearied because of the murderers. Because when this time of Jacob's, there's going to be a lot of people taken out. Going to be a lot of people taken out. Another precept is Revelation 12. Revelation 12. Go right to the point. Serpent. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, the devil, called the devil and Satan, deceives the whole world through his mark. Ultimately, jump down here, and when the devil saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child Yahushai, and the woman represent Israel. He was born from Israel, in particular the woman Mary, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, one of them places with Africa. That's where he picked us up from, into a place, America, where she is nourished for a time, times and a half a time from the face of the serpent. So you're nourished for a certain amount of time, then it's going to stop. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. They might try to take you out. Flood represents army. 70 AD was the armies coming in. All right? Let's come on back. Wait a minute. This is not what I want. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, this is not me either. Okay, here we go.
Warfare, where you could pretty much have a landmass be ignited on fire just by the push of a button. But once again, this is all through the will and power of Yahweh Shai.
Give me a second.
All right, so this is from the endoftheamericandream.com.
Okay, that's something else.
Not really, first and foremost, a dream isn't real.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me come back over here.
The impact. Right, so now check this out. This is in the book of, let me see, it's either Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Right here, St. John 13. I'm going to start at 1. The point is around 4 or 5. The Lord's Supper, right? St. John 13 and 1. Now, before the feast of the Passover, when Yahushua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. This is dealing with the elect. And the elect began with, of course, Yahushua the apostle Peter and the other apostle, the other 10 apostles, which was 11 altogether, because Judas fell out. Then Mattathias came in, and then the men that they gathered, the women that they gathered, and also the apostle Paul and the disciples that he gathered, and the great cloud of witnesses, which are part of the elect. It says, and supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Yahushua, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he was come from the Most High and went to the Most High, right? So he came to that conclusion. Like this is my mission. This is what I had to do. Even though he went to pray one more time at the Garden of Gethsemane, to see if this cup could pass from him, because you have to remember the high stress levels that Yahushua was under, so much so that he started sweating blood. As one account states, I forget the name of it, something hema something, it was like a hemorrhaging, to where he was actually sweating sweat and blood because of the extreme stress he was under. That's why he told his disciples, I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straightened until it be accomplished? Right? So this is what he said. He said, he rises from supper and laid aside his garments and took a towel and girded himself. Okay? Now, let me look up. It was one of these words that I had looked up. Like I said, it was totally the Spirit. Nope, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. This is it right here. He took a towel. The word there is lention, right? Because when the brother read this scripture in Isaiah 32, right, and he read it in it had to be the NIV, where it says pretty much strip you and tie rags around your waist. It made me think of, well, that's the way that a servant would dress themselves in order to serve, and that's what these women are going, because these women are servants. The word woman means servant, female servant. Women are a possession, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in this society, it's been taught that that's wrong. That men, shouldn't be treating women like that, and women are not your slave. Yes, women are the slave. Why did the Lord have? What was the purpose of Eve? To be a helpmeet unto Adam. And the Lord said that he will rule over you. And this is why women don't have the ability to make decisions on their own. This is why either the father will make the decision or the husband will make the decision. Why? Because women are not good at making decisions like that. This is why you have so many single mothers out there. It's why you have, women out.
Let me go ahead and read this again. Okay, let me come on back. Come back again. Number of Black American single mothers with kids, almost 50%. In 2022, there were approximately 4.15 million Black families headed by a single mother. The supposed population of the United States of so-called Black Americans are like 12 million. So we're talking a third of the population between men and women, but we're talking about women, which is represent maybe 6 million, 7 million, and this makes a sense. That's not a good look at all. That's not a good look at all. That's why you got these women on TikTok, and YouTube talking, I'm coming in the store and I'm robbing. You ain't gonna, I got kids to feed. But where's your man at? So y'all desperate now. And you're gonna become more desperate, and you're gonna have to submit to the man. Like some of you women get in the truth, you call yourself in the truth. But if a brother has another woman on the side, you got a problem with it. You really ain't in the truth. All right.
Out there, from the different tribes, especially Judah, that has 12 kids by 13 different men. I said it like that on purpose, But it's the truth, because these women cannot make decisions. This is why you had prearranged marriages, so on and so forth. And that goes into a whole another lesson on the customs of Israel and how the daughters were prepared, to serve their husbands. But in this society, it's taught that women should, pretty much should do whatever they want, lay down with whoever they want, and don't have to worry about the consequences, because the laws of the house.
Yeah, man does not want a woman with a high body count. The man wants a woman that's a virgin. I have been with women that mention men that they had previously, and I'll get mad like she messing around behind my back, even though she was dealing with this dude or that dude before I met her. That's how jealous we are. You supposed to, you so jealous, bitch. A man's supposed to be jealous to the point where he want to kill you. And this is why you black women, you are the least dateable, and that's just a fact. That's just a motherfucking fact. Cause of your funky, nasty ass attitude. Ain't nobody want no nasty black woman. Well, I got a good, and don't give me I got a PhD. Them college hoes are the worst hoes to get with. And they got them college hoes. They got want to talk about a body count? Shit.
By Shemal Shai are not upheld here. Therefore, there's no fear to commit adultery. There's no fear to commit, activity. And other things, right?
Yeah, you got them men, Moabs. They'll come up, they'll be up all in your face, and they get fucked up. There's no way in hell you are not. You must be deleted because your mind is not right. Your mind is not right. I don't be looking at no man like, I don't be looking at no man like that. But when I look at a woman, I may or may not get aroused, depending on what the woman is shaped, the way her face look, or whatever. But for a man to look at another man as a man looks at a woman, you have to be deleted, according to the scriptures. Now, in this country. And you know what? Nero haven't passed no laws against Moses. If you notice that. He ain't got no special department getting Moses. Because they all right with having Moses in this society. That's why Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai got to set this motherfucker on fire. John looked down. A bird's eye view or schematic. The Most High, through the Spirit, took him up in the heavens and made him look down. And he saw this big lake on fire. That was Babylon the Great. Not no goddamn hell.
So, going back here, the word for towel is lentian. Lentian is a linen cloth towel. And I didn't know this was here. The Spirit just had me look it up. And even the elder was like, we were like pretty much like, our jaws dropped, like, wow. Because, the Spirit, said, yeah, these women are going to gird rags around their waist because they're going to go back to servitude. They're going to go back to submitting. They're going to go back to being a servant as they're supposed to be, right? And then when I read this, we were just like, wow, our jaws dropped. It said of the towel or apron with which servants put on when about to work. And this is why Yahweh Shai put on that towel around his waist, because he presented himself to his disciples as a servant. He said, you call me master, and it is, for I am your master, but I'm among you as one that serveth. So these women are going to go back to their servant state, what they were created for, to serve man. Inside joke. But that's what they're going to go back to.
Yeah, that was in my mind too. But right when you said it, to serve men.
You know, so it says of the towel or apron which servants put on when about to work. So they're going to go back to
It's a cookbook. Inside joke.
subservience, as we read before. Submit, right? Accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. And this is going to be the man, the elect men of the nation of Israel, because there's going to come a point where these women are going to look for protection. Matter of fact, let's go to the same chapter, Isaiah 32. Let's go to the second verse. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, meaning what? From this devastation that's coming, these hard times, the time of Jacob's trouble. And what man? The Israelite man of the elect. It says, and a covert from the tempest. Because you know, when you have storms and these different hurricanes, what are people looking for? They're looking for a place that's stable enough to protect them until that storm or that hurricane or whatever the case may be passes. So the elect men of the nation of Israel are going to be, you know, like frozen pillars, like iron pegs in a frozen tundra. Inside joke, but they're going to be stiff because of and get your mind out the gutter. I ain't talking about that kind. Even though you know that's going to go down too. You know, Salakia is the dove hour. You know, but get your mind out the gutter and focus. It says, in a covert from the tempest, because the men are going to be strong pillars in this, you know, in this trying time. And I'm talking about the elect men of the nation of Israel. You know, beginning with the true prophets of Great Millstone, affiliate camps, and you know, and if there be any elect men out there of the other, you know, groups out there, you know, whether IUCPK, IUIC, or any of the other groups that have elect men, which we believe they do, they're going to be those pillars in these trying times. Because remember, perilous times are coming. The time of Jacob's trouble is coming. So the men of the nation of Israel, of the elect,
It's already here. It's already here.
are going to be strong. They're going to be, you know, the Lord is going to turn that spirit all the way up, and these women are going to run. They're going to give up that what's the word I'm looking for? That there's a word for it, entitled or entitlement spirit, and they're going to bow down. They're going to humble themselves before the men. It says, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in the weary land. So when all this hell and calamity comes to pass, this is why the Lord said, I will make a man more precious than fine gold. So when we read here in Isaiah 32:11 in the NIV, right, when it said for these women to take off their fine clothes and gird rags around their waist. Why? Because they're going to go back to that subservient ways, the way that a woman is supposed to be. Because Elder Pastor said this years ago. He said, women are not really rebellious, you know, by nature, but they're rebellious to the Israelite man, and they're not really rebellious to Esau. Why? Because Esau is in power. So the Lord is going to turn up the spirit of the elect men of the nation of Israel, you know, to be that power and that authority, whereby, you know, they have the ability to say, look, you know, it's either my way or the highway. You want the protection? This is what's required of you. And if you can't fulfill that, then move on. That's why it says in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man. You know, they're going to do whatever it is that they have to do in order for them to be protected from this great storm that's coming, which is called Jacob's trouble, which we're in the midst of it already, but it's just going to keep turning up. We got what? Today's October 30th. We got what? 2 days to the 1st, which is on Saturday. You know, so by Monday, all hell could have broken loose. You know, and they're calling these. You know, these women are calling for, you know, Jake to go to these different Walmarts and just, you know, and just, they can't catch all of us, you know, going in and take everything and then run out. Well, there was a, I don't know how true it is, but they said that all the Walmarts will be closed as of November 1st, and you have to do your shopping online. Now, whether that's true or not, we'll see. And that's going to cause a lot of inconveniences to the workers at Walmart and to the people shopping, because these workers at Walmart are going to have to go through the whole of Walmart, mainly in the food section, and pick up all that stuff that these people are ordering online. And they're not going to be able to order it. Why? Because if they don't give,
They've been doing that. You go to any major store, big box store, big supermarket, they'll have a certain crew that they'll pick out things in the cart, and that's for delivery to. Now they got certain major supermarkets that have truck. They'll order your order, and they'll have a truck deliver the whole thing to you. And then they got, what's this thing? It's an app. And I even put the app on my phone. I ain't doing that shit, shopping for motherfuckers. Somebody help me out, man. Not DoorDash. But they go shopping. So a lot of people been doing that. So guess what? They'll hire a lot more people to get those, but eventually they're gonna have robots. Hey, everything that we've been saying here at GMS from the beginning is coming to pass. You notice people don't be coming on our pages scoffing like they used to. They're saying, oh shit, everything that they've been saying is coming to pass. And the mark of the beast, the microchip, the MOTB, is coming to pass. That's the microchip. And then when your eyes are gonna pop open when it comes to pass. When you have a deadline as to when you got to get the chip, or you don't be a part of the system. I did a video, right? Give me a second. Give me a second here. Okay, this is the thing with Drewski. Nigga named Drewski. Give me a second here. Bear me. You miss a day, you miss a lot. Gotta watch these videos every day. Cause niggas is getting turned up. Most High is getting ready to turn up. Okay, where is it? Okay, right here. Robots will get your food all cashless. All cashless. One more step, 2. Let's go ahead and play that. Out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, this is how you're gonna get your food items in the near future, which is one step closer to you. You know what? This is I put this on mute. This is a Ven Hub. Order with Ven Hub. Watch robots deliver. So this is a store, no people, no personnel, just a robot. So you come out 2 in the morning, you want to get in Arizona, you use your you get the app, the Ven Hub app, and you pick what she's doing. She's picking certain things, then they deduct it from your account. No more cash. No more cash. So anyway, Shalom, on to the next. They're getting the world used to this type of technology. Let me come on back. And the chip is definitely coming. You're gonna have, if you want to remain in the system, remain on the grid, you're gonna have to get that chip.
Give them their benefits, then they're not going to be able to shop. So that's what's going to cause this Jacob's trouble, but it's going to cause these Israelite women troubles. That's going to humble them, humiliate them to the point where they're going to have to lower that demonic spirit that they have in them, that entitled spirit, that feminist spirit, to go back to what they're supposed to be, which is a soft, loving, shamefaced woman. You see, and see, this is what happened. This is the ugly face that happens when you drink the serpent's venom. You know, this is what happens when you trust in the devil. This is what happens when you look to this devil for power and to put yourself in a position where you don't belong. That's why Yahweh said, you know, he that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. So you women have been exalted in this society. You've been proud. And now this is the Lord's way of humiliating you, to bring you back to reality, to bring you back to where you're supposed to be, as a servant under your man. You're going to submit. You will submit. There's no question about it. You will submit. You know, it could be done the easy way or it could be done the hard way. You know? But a lot of you women are not going to make it here in America, especially you cumbrella wearing, you know. And if there's, you know, any woman out there that's listening that may have those things on, but you're changing your ways and all that, this is not directed at you. This is directed at the majority. I say 99.9% of you women out there that fall under that category. All right. If the shoe fits, like we used to say at One West, take it off and get another pair. All right. So I want to read this, and then when we get to Isaiah 32:11, I want to pull out some of these words to give you like a better understanding, because we read that Yahushua, after supper, he took off his garment and girded himself with a towel. When we looked up the word towel, is the word lention. It's a linen cloth towel, of the towel or apron with which servants put on when about to work. And like I said, when we read this in the truck yesterday, both our jaws dropped, because that was a sentiment that came to mind when I heard the brother read that scripture and said, you know, tie sackcloth around your waist. So, oh shit, because that's the way servants, you know, would serve their master. And all of a sudden, this scripture popped in my mind. Oh shit, Yahweh girded himself with a towel. You know, so I looked up the word towel as lention, of the towel or apron with which servants put on when about to work. So these women are going to be brought down to a servant state where they belong. And it's not that they're going to be humiliated to doing something that they're not accustomed, or that they're not supposed to do, because this is what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, they're coming back to their true nature of being women. When I was a child, my mother and my grandmother, my grandmother lived with my mother, you know, and the children, and they used to cook. They used to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But they would do it, you know, they would have you the string beans. Remember that, the string beans? You had to cut off the tips. You had to be there for an hour cutting it, cut them straight, you know, because they were originally from the South. But they would make everything was made from scratch. That's before supermarkets. And you know, when you dealt with the children, you cooking food, you clean the house, you're doing that, your day is occupied, which the word occupied means to work, right? These women are loose right now because they don't do nothing. They watch TV and they get bored. You know? Then they got it where when you go back, this was before the W0m, World War I, World War II, during the eras. Before the W0m, women didn't go out and work. They stayed home. They were caretakers of their children in the household, and when the man got home from work, and all you had to do was have one man work a full day, 8 hours, and he would come home, and there would be enough to pay for everything, the clothes, the food. They didn't even have welfare, and you were considered embarrassing to be on some form of welfare, food stamps, right? That came because of the singleness of the mothers. So there's a whole psychology to that. There's a whole psychology to that where women wasn't messing around like that. I mean, shit was going on, but not like it is now. These women, and they brag about it. They brag about their body count. It's like bragging about eating shit. You know? It's like bragging about getting your ass kicked. You have 5 fights and you lost all of them, and you bragging about everything's. The scriptures say, let me go. It said we turn the world upside down, but there's another one, turning of things upside down. That's Isaiah, if I'm not mistaken, it's Isaiah 5. And this is what Esau did. He opened up the workplace for women, and there's all. If you want to get promotions, you got to lay with the boss, right? Or you got a co-worker that you're going to lay with. So this place is all fucked up, and everybody sees it, man, including you Edomites. You see that this place, you red hat wearing people, you see this motherfucker's fucking up. And we're living in a nuclear age. We're living in an age of ICBM missiles. So but you know what? The pride is telling you America's never going down. It is going down, and it's going, and the whole world gonna see it. This is gonna be the ultimate black swan event. It's gonna be breaking news around the whole planet Earth, around the globe. Where I was gonna go, Isaiah. I believe it's Isaiah 5. Let's see if I'm correct. I'll find it. Let me see. Up. Bear me for a minute. Let me do this up. Side. Nope. Let me do it this way. Okay, go. I'll find it. I'll find it. It's in Isaiah. Could be Isaiah 28, 29, 30. Up. Upside. Down. This is why we got these tools. Okay, let me try it this way. Potter's clay. Potter's clay. Okay, maybe it's one word. Try it this way. Sorry. Let's try it this way. Let me do it this way. Let me do this. Esteemed as the potter's clay. Bible. Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29. And why didn't it come up? Let's go right here. King James. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, for shall the work say of him that made it. Remember, Paul said that in Romans 9. He made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. Now this is Isaiah 29 and 16. They turned everything upside down. Isaiah 29 and 16, did I say? Let's go. how far I'm planning to go. Wherefore much, therefore, behold, I pursue marvelous work. I'm sorry. For the Lord hath poured out the spirit of slumber, and the vision has become to the words that close this book that is sealed. When the book is delivered to one that is learned, saying, I pray thee, what does this mean? I don't know, because it's sealed. To a man that's unlearned, I don't know, because I'm unlearned. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a work among the people, Israelites, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. That happened to us. Now it's going to happen to Esau. Speaks about the wise men, the Teman, losing their wisdom. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel. That's the Illuminati. But it's coming. People see it now. The Charlie Kirk thing from Yahweh, and their works are done in the dark. That represents us, but it represents Esau as well. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? We said that, and Esau is saying that. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, the Most High made Esau, Jacob and Esau, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? You say the Most High had no understanding? Sweet for bitter. Let's see what comes up. Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5 and 20. Woe unto him that call evil good. Esau is totally corrupt, but they know we're good people. We're righteous. The government system, they'll tell you how righteous they are and how good they are. And like the politicians, when they run for certain offices, if there's scandal on them, they do everything. They'll pay people off. They'll get the news not to say it. And we know that Nero 47's whole family is corrupt and wicked as hell. But they got certain idiots that believe this guy's he's really for us. He ain't for you. He's for his super rich buddies. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Now we're good and they're calling us evil. That put darkness for light, wickedness for evil, for righteousness, and light for darkness. They're saying we have the light, and they're saying we put darkness in front of people. That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. That put bitter for sweet. Give somebody something bitter. Oh, this is bitter. No, it's not. It's sweet. And sweet, what we have is the sweet word. And they're saying, oh, that word, that the Hebrew Israelites, that's bitter. So the ones that can't see it, you're going to get caught up in this thing, and you're going to be set on fire. You're going to die. You're going to suffer the death of the enemy, of Esau, the Edomites. So you're just going to have to deal with it. Let's come on back.
They're supposed to be subservient to their men. This is why the older woman would teach the younger woman how to be a woman, how to conduct her household.
You know what women tell their daughters now? Don't give in to the first nigga that you meet. Play the field. That's what they tell them to do. Play the field. That's what these fucking women, these black women, these Israelite women, Judite women tell them what to do. Don't deal with the black woman, man. It's nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. Try to get you a Latina woman that come from a good household and she's open to you, man.
to raise up children, how to cook, how to clean, how to sew, how to clean the house, how to please their man. You see? So going back to Isaiah 32, rise up, you women that are at ease. Why? Because these women.
There was a video that Apostle Gabar showed me last Saturday of an Edomite woman in the car, and she was talking about men and women relationships. He said women are supposed to make her man's thing hard, not make his life hard. Her job is to make his. At the end of the day, the reason why you tolerate a woman is because at the end of the day, you want a good and hot cooked meal, made with love, and you want sex, and you can cuddle too. Men cuddle too, But mainly what you want is the sex. You want the food. You want the fact that you got a lovely wife, and you're happy to come home. And that's how it was back in the day. It's all fucked up now. That's why Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is going to set this whole motherfucker on fire. And it's going to burn, baby, burn.
Have been living a comfortable lifestyle here in America. You hear these women, well, daddy daycare took care of us. Thank you for being the daddy, and this, that, and the other, and this deadbeat and blah, blah, and this, that, and the other, But now they're coming to the realization that, the same daddy that helped raise their children is the same daddy that got the majority of these jakes, especially the Judite men, in jail, being moles, dead in the streets, gangbanging with each other, continuing this vicious cycle. So the Lord is saying, rise up, you women that are at ease. Why? Because you've been careless. Like the scriptures say in Deuteronomy 32, Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. It says, hear my voice, you careless daughters. Because the prophets are out here telling you, but you ain't listening. Give ear unto my speech. And why ain't you listening? Because your lover, Esau, he's giving you your wine and your fine linen and your flax and your and everything that you have to give you those comforts. But he's about to strip you, because it was only for a certain particular time that you were going to be fed by the serpent. Now the serpent is pulling the rug up from under you, and you don't know how to function because you don't have a man in your life, someone to take care of you outside of the gutman. You see, because women by nature are dependent on a man, are dependent on something. This whole independent bullshit, independent, that was all bullshit. You bought that shit. These women that talk about independent and hopping from one man to another, guess what? They're married. They have families. They have homes. So you were duped. You were bamboozled. You were hoodwinked. And now you're left out there in the cold. You're left there to meditate on on your life. You meditate on the decisions that you've made. And you're going to be not only just meditate on it, you're going to be put in a situation where you're going to have to submit. You're going to have to go back to what it is to be a woman. You're going to go back. You have to go back to sharing your man with other women. And guess what? If you don't have that mentality, you're gonna be kicking rocks. Because some of you women, even that call yourself sisters, you cool, you believe everything that the scriptures say, but when it comes down for your man to having another woman, you have a problem with that.
That means they ain't in the truth. They not in the truth.
Which shows you that you really don't believe. You partially believe. But guess what? When all hell breaks loose and you see that your man is that iron peg in a frozen tundra, like I said, inside joke, then you're going to be like, you're not going to have any other choice. So it says, many days and years shall you be troubled. And I remember years ago, Elder Apostle Gabar went into this, days above a year or something like that. I forget exactly how he worded it. If the Elder Apostle, might, be watching this video, maybe he can revisit that if he likes,
Yeah, I believe that's in the Red Bible in the margin there. You got the number, and it tells you how it's translated, days of a year, which makes sense because when this time of Jacob's trouble is in full swing, that's when it's going to be in the time of Jacob's trouble. That's when they're going to push the micro C hip. But everything's going to move quick. As soon as they accomplish, they got the majority of the planet Earth chipped up. Here we go, talking about the chip again. That's when everything. That's when you look for maybe a month. We'll be out of here in a month, maybe 2 months, a month and a half. We ain't gonna be here for another 10 years dealing with the trip. We're not gonna be living out in the mountains for 10 fucking years. This is a test. The Most High want to see who passed the test and who. Okay, these people said they ain't gonna take it. Even some of them got put to death. They got their head chopped off. These people took it. Okay, so now I can go and deliver mine elect. That's the only thing holding the Most High back from telling his son to go and get the children of Israel. Israel, my glory, right? That's also in the scriptures. Israel, that's also in Isaiah. Let me go ahead and find that. It's in Isaiah. I believe that's Isaiah 45 or 47. Israel, my glory. Israel, my glory. Yep, Isaiah 46. I'm sorry, I said 47, 45. I bring near my righteousness, it shall not be far off, and my salvation's coming out of where? America. Shall not tarry, and I will place salvation in Zion, monument for Israel, my glory. Israel is talking about the Israelites. That's his glory. Come on back.
But it's going to be a certain period of time that you're going to be troubled. Why? Because this is the time of Jacob's trouble. It says, see here, you careless women, because you've been running carefree. And look at the product. Look at the product that has been. Bro, look at the condition that the so-called community is in for allowing you women to do whatever you want, to be free, to lay down with whoever you want to just do whatever you want. Look at the product that it brought forth. Nothing but chaos and confusion, death, disease. The men locked up in prisons. Men being effeminate, moles, bisexuals. This is what happens when you buy into the serpent's, lies. So you've been careless. And since you've been careless, you've been lacking. And then you're lacking, which you got from your mother, that she got from her mother, that she got from her mother. Look at the never-ending cycle of this madness that's created in the hood, mainly among Judah, because the other tribes they fucked up too, but the head tribe Judah is the most fucked up. The whole head is sick. So this carelessness of yours has brought the confusion and the chaos that it has in the so-called black homes and among the Judite, families. So now you're going to be forced into submission. It says, for the vintage shall fail. Right, all of that, the gathering that you had. the gathering that you had and all that, it's gonna fail. It's gonna.
November 1st. Let's see what happens. Today is the 30th. Tomorrow is so-called Halloween. And then Saturday. They say all hell gonna break loose on Saturday. I don't know if everybody that gets these EBT cards, I don't know if they all get it on the 1st, or some get it on the 1st and others on the 15th. But I know they normally get it on the 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So they're gonna go and check to see what's going on. And like I said, we don't know it with Walmart, but it makes sense. If Walmart closes and you have to order your food, they're gonna hire a lot of people, and when you go to the supermarket, it's gonna be closed. The only way you can get your stuff is by going on the app with a credit card or EBT or whatever and ordering your food, and you can pull up to the bumper, and they'll put the food in your cart or have it delivered to you. And there's like there may be a fee or not. If they deliver it to you, I guess there's a fee. I don't know. I don't do that. I need something to eat, I go out and get it myself. So if you don't have the EBT and you ain't got no job and you ain't got no man and you ain't got no fucking money, you're assed out and your kids are assed out. So you gonna be forced to get with it. 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to entitle this video. 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. You women will submit. Beautiful. I'm sorry I'm going long.
Come from nothing. I'm joined by the Elder Bashai.
Shalom.
You got something you got to do?
No.
You sitting in?
Yeah.
All right, beautiful, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, you're gonna be brought back.
He better sit in. Homeboy better sit in. Sit your ass down and open up them books. And shalom to the Elder Bashai. Every time he come to New York, I say, "What's your name, brother?" And he get mad. What's your name, brother? I forgot your name. Anyway, I remember I've been knew his name, man. I just fuck with him. Anyway, moving on. So here you gonna come in. Another spirit.
To reality, because you women have created nothing but chaos